What are you doing here? What do you think? I'm just here to entertain you? Do I look amusing to you? Look like a clown, just here to entertain you? Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Well, guess what? You're right. As today's Pack a Day Slave, we're going to go ahead and watch a scary video. All the while, I'm going to catch up on some packs that I haven't been able to rip open yet and catch you guys up with what's been going on. Take it from here. Enjoy the video down below.
Over a month ago,
Pack a Day
I went
Slave.
to Idaho to meet my boyfriend Robbie's family for the first time. Robbie had grown up in a really small town, though he didn't act like it at all. He acted like all our other city friends. So when he invited me, I assumed his hometown would be a mid-sized city with plenty to do. I was very wrong. The whole town had just a couple thousand people, and it was also spread out with endless flat fields. I always loved traveling, but this was the first place I'd visited that genuinely creeped me out. As we drove through the town's one main road, Robbie excitedly gave me a tour of everything we passed. I couldn't believe it. He was actually excited to be back here. He wasn't embarrassed or anything. We parked in front of his childhood home, and his parents ran out to greet us. They seemed like really nice, warm people. Robbie had already told them a lot about me, so they asked me a bunch of questions about my work and my family. It was very pleasant. After settling in, I realized that I had forgot to bring my allergy medication. I'm extremely allergic to cats, and Robbie's mom Catherine had 3 cats. I asked Catherine if she had any medicine I could borrow, but she told me that I'd have to run to the store. That's when I found out that everyone in this town shopped exclusively at Walmart. That's why they called it the store. It was literally the only store in the area. I asked Robbie to go with me, but he was so excited to catch up with his parents. I ended up taking his car and driving myself there. I know it's weird to admit, but even though I was in my late 20s, I'd never actually been in a Walmart before. I always preferred places like Trader Joe's and Whole Foods instead. I thought of Walmart as the kind of place that poor people went to. But I was pleasantly surprised when I entered. It was a modern, clean building with pretty much everything a person would need. The old woman who greeted me seemed really nice, and the cashiers and customers all smiled when they saw me. I guess they didn't see a lot of new faces. I went to the pharmacy section and got the medicine I needed. Then I got some wine to bring back to Robbie's parents. As I was checking out, the cashier engaged in a bit of small talk. She asked about what brought me to Idaho. I told them I was meeting my in-laws for the first time. She smiled, welcoming me to the area. Then I mentioned Robbie's name, and the woman's expression instantly hardened. "You're staying with the Carpenters?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "Catherine and Bob Carpenter. I'm dating their son." The woman looked around the room, making sure that no one heard me. Then, she printed out my receipt and wrote something on it before she placed it in one of my bags. I thanked her and left. When I got back in the car, I pulled out my receipt to see what she'd written. It was a single sentence at the bottom of the paper. "They're in a cult." As I drove back to Robbie's house, I had no idea what to do. Was this some kind of small-town joke that locals played on outsiders? Or was she serious? I didn't know my in-laws well enough to ask them, but I trusted Robbie enough to talk to him about it. I parked my car and walked inside with my medicine and wine. Catherine greeted me at the door, saying that I was just in time for brunch. Robbie and his dad were already sitting at the table. They looked up and smiled at me. With the note still on my mind, I started to see the house in a new light. The walls were covered with family photos, but there were framed paintings of weird symbols. A huge painting just above the dinner table showed a witch being burnt at the stake. The whole place suddenly seemed cultish. I sat down at the table, pretending that everything was okay. I guess I didn't do a good job though, because Robbie asked me what was wrong. His parents both stared at me, waiting for an answer. I asked Robbie if I could talk to him in private. He laughed and said, "Sure, after we eat." The food looked pretty normal, but if it were poisoned or something, I wouldn't be able to tell. My plate was already filled with food. Just in case, I turned to Robbie and asked, "Actually, I know this is weird, but can we switch places? It looks like yours has more mashed potatoes." Catherine reached for the bowl of potatoes, ready to serve me more, but I ignored her and swapped my plate for Robbie's. If they wanted to poison me, I wasn't going to take any chances. Robbie gave me a strange look, but he didn't say anything. When he started eating from the plate that was originally meant for me, I knew that there wasn't any poison involved. I had just let the cashier's weird warning go to my head. I started eating too. Everything tasted normal.
And we'll take it from there.
Then Catherine stood up, holding up her champagne.